How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Two Bros Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Smith, and I'm here with my brother and co-host, Dakota Smith. How are you doing on this very cold day in Kansas, Dakota?
Well, not looking forward to the snow that you've already got. We'll just say that.
It's been a
Not
lot.
not looking forward to it. We're supposed to get it here tonight and into tomorrow morning. So not looking forward to it.
You're going to love it, I promise.
Oh, you know I'm going to not love it.
Well, let's just say it's a little chilly where we live at the moment. But today, we are starting our World Cup podcast for Qatar here in 2022. Beginning November 20th on this upcoming Sunday, we're going to have 3 episodes coming out. This first one's going to be about Group A through Group D. Then the second one will be Group E through Group H. And the third one will be us talking through our knockout stages. And by that time, we'll probably have our own predictions made up. But we're going to do this one right now. This is going to be kind of a combined prediction type of thing. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Well, starting off with Group A, this group does consider here with Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. Qatar is a squad made up entirely of players from the league in Qatar. And let me tell you, they definitely don't mind conceding possession, as they do have that to allow them to have fast transitions on the break. And they have that underdog type of style to them. Key player for them, Akram Afif, is a very hybrid player, and he can play that inverted winger or up top there in that striker position. He's very, very creative for this Qatar side. And moving on to Ecuador here, very much of an underdog team, very young squad with some nice technical ability talent in their side. They have a very direct style of play with lots of long balls over the top, very pacey wingers. Key player for them, though, however, is going to be Michael Estrada. He's a target man style striker, and with lots of crosses coming in, could be very important for this Ecuadorian side.
Would you consider them to be the sleeper in this group?
I absolutely would. I think Ecuador is definitely the sleeper. I think Qatar, they've been playing a lot of international football lately. They participated in the Gold Cup in North America, and they got a win against Honduras. I believe El Salvador too. They got some good results in the competition, and I think the reason with Qatar playing that much football is they don't want to disappoint. It's home turf for them. This is their first ever World Cup. Obviously, they get in automatically, but they almost qualified 4 years ago anyway. They've been playing well. This team has played together for a long time, and all of them come out of the same league. So,
In case anybody can't tell, one of us is much more into this sport than the other. I'm starting to get into it. He has gotten me into it. That's why I've agreed to do this.
I brought you into the trap.
You're rattling off stuff about Qatar and Ecuador, and I'm looking at the rosters on ESPN thinking I don't know who any of these people are. I'm your generic soccer fan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's football, so there you go. That really points it out, basically.
We're in America. I'm gonna call it that.
But a name for Ecuador that really probably stands out, the only one I can think of that you probably would know is Moises Caicedo for Brighton. But outside of that, I understand, because honestly, I don't know much of them either. But with the next team in this group, though, Senegal. Obviously, a little bit of an injury scare coming in over the past week with Sadio Mane. Not sure if he was going to be in the squad or not. But here he is. He's in the squad. They've brought him. Notable names in this squad is Edouard Mendy, keeper for Chelsea, Kalidou Koulibaly, and moving it to forwards here, we have Sadio Mane, of course, being brought. Ismaila Sarr is another name that really sticks out in this Senegal side. And, I mean, it's a solid team. It's a solid team all around. It's the golden generation of Senegalese football. And the key player, I mean, come on. It's Sadio Mane.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much argument on that from anyone. Don't think anybody's going to push you back on that.
There's got to be no disagreement here. If you do, let me know. If you're from Senegal and for somehow watching this, let me know. But Mane is this team. I mean, he does what he wants, and this team's game plan is get Mane the ball and let him go. Let him go to work on the wing. Netherlands, played a very attacking style in the Euros, was fun to watch. However, Van Dijk wasn't there at that time. So often they do get caught out at the back during qualifying, but with Van Dijk back, they can press up a lot more. And that I think that's going to really help them here in this group stage, especially. I think they're probably the favorites out of the group. Especially, we'll see if Sadio Mane, if he starts right away playing or if he's going to be a game or two missed. We'll see what happens there. But key player for the Netherlands here is Memphis Depay. He's a wondrous player for his country, and he relates like what Neymar is for Brazil at the moment. I don't think any Dutch person would disagree with me about how much they love Memphis Depay. Group A, Dakota. Is there a team you think that would finish on top?
I think it's the Dutch. I think you just take your Euro power here and go.
Yeah.
I really think it's the Dutch. I think Senegal will give them a run for their money.
I agree. I think those are the two to get out. I think we can agree.
I think those are the two to get out, and you can nitpick the order if you want. Because I think either one of these teams could win this group. But if you told me one of these teams was going to make a long run, I would figure it would be the Dutch.
Yeah.
So we're going to go Senegal. So we go on Senegal second.
I believe Senegal second. And how much I would love Qatar to go through, or even I think the win for Qatar in this tournament would be to get a point, to get a win even.
Do you think they get it in that first game? That's by far their best chance.
I think that's their best chance to. But I think it's going to be.
Okay, so
honestly, just do that. I think
we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that. I think that's going to be a pretty common from people on how this group finishes. But now we go to the group I can talk about because I know two of these teams really well.
Now, as we get into this, I'm sure Dakota will talk more.
But, you have to carry me through the countries I don't know.
Ecuador, I mean, even I don't know much about them. I did a little bit of research, but so we'll get there, especially this group. So,
this group should be fun.
Yeah, Group B. It's going to be an entertaining one. England, Iran, the United States of America, and Wales. Of course, both of us from the U.S. Biasy probably will kick in here. I'm going to be cheering them on from the middle of absolute nowhere in Kansas. So, where I'm like the one person in a 35-mile radius that knows what the heck soccer is. So,
and no, there's more people than that.
But starting off with England, it's arguably one of the best squads in the world. This team has talent front to back, but center back is where the lack of quality is. Obviously, they have the likes of Ben White, Maguire, Stones, Dyer, and Connor Cody. That's who's all going. And I don't mind him, but I'm a little confused about Tomori not going to this World Cup. He's played very well. Obviously, he was on the Milan team last season when they won the Serie A. And then you have Trippier and Trent playing right back, but Ben White also can go out to right back, and Kyle Walker's there as well. Only one left back in this squad, Luke Shaw. And as you can tell, we can talk about these ones a little bit more because I know a little bit more. Watch these people on a weekend basis. So, but it's a very technical side, very technical, and they have that ability to be technical. Conceding only 3 goals in qualifying, it's very impressive. They didn't concede at all in the group stage, I believe, at the Euros, if I'm right in thinking that. But key player for them, it might be a toss-up. It might just be a random one here thrown out. A lot of people may not agree, but I think it's Declan Rice. He was immense at the Euros for them. His defensive duties are going to hold the key to let Jude Bellingham roam and go forward. And I think if Declan Rice can play like he did at the Euros, I think Jude Bellingham could have a very good World Cup, whether he's scoring goals or not. Jude Bellingham can play very well in this side.
I just think if you're Gareth Southgate, who do you start? I think that's where the questions lie with England is who do you start?
Well,
who are you starting in goal?
It'll be Pickford. It'll be
Pickford.
Yeah.
I mean, the man turns into the best keeper in the world when he puts on the British uniform.
He literally does. So. But the formation they'll probably play, I think Southgate wants to play that 3 in the back system with those wing backs. and Luke Shaw. And if you really want to play the wing backs, it probably would be I would probably play Trent. I know some people question his defensiveness, but um, Trent playing in that basically right mid position, but as a right wing back, being able to drop back like that. I think Trent's got to play. If not, it's going to be Trippier. I mean, he has options at right back. The place he doesn't have options is left back, and Luke Shaw is going to play a lot of games, a lot of minutes at this World Cup. But midfield, I think it's got to be Declan Rice. It's got to be Bellingham, and it's Mount. Obviously Jordan Henderson, he's here. He's come on the plane for a reason. He's a leader of this team. Obviously him and Harry Kane, and even Maguire. Locker room players. So we'll see. I think those are the three midfielders. I think the forwards, are fairly obvious in my opinion. I think
they're
it's
super
Kane,
strong.
Sterling, and Foden.
They're super strong up front. They're very strong up front. And I've become a big Bukayo Saka fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like the way he plays. After watching Arsenal a few times, I really like the way he plays. I love Foden. Obviously, you can't not like Harry Kane. I feel like everybody likes Harry Kane. He's that one guy we can all agree on that everybody likes. And if he puts the ball in the back of the net consistently, this team's gonna be really tough to beat in general. Yep. But if Kane gets hot throughout this tournament, then they're gonna be really, really hard to beat.
Yeah. And he's playing really well in the Premier League so far this season. It's just Erling Haaland scoring how he's scoring just takes it away from Kane. He's having a brilliant season in the Premier League, and I think a lot of people do realize that, but I think there's also people who don't, and I think people need to realize that.
It's really disappointing we don't get to see Haaland on a stage like this.
Yeah.
I think I mean, if he played for anywhere else.
Yeah. But speaking of that is Harry Kane. I mean, right now Haaland doesn't steal the shine for him in the Premier League, but obviously he's scoring more goals. But if you throw Kane in that Manchester City system, Kane is scoring that many goals, and Erling Haaland in Spurs is not. So,
okay.
Questions in the forwards, obviously, when it came out was Callum Wilson. That was the biggest one, but very proud of James Maddison. Absolutely deserves the call up with the form he's in.
He's in great form for Leicester.
Next team, Iran. This one won't get talked about as much as England. Like I said, we know more about certain teams than others. So,
guess what? Guess what though? The next one's probably going to get talked about a lot.
But Iran, this is arguably their strongest squad ever. Easily, it's the golden generation of Iran, probably. This is the most Iran players that have ever been in European football in the top 5 leagues. And the key player for them is Sadar Azman, who is a mobile striker. He still likes to run inside the channels, though, and he can be a big help to this Iran team going forward. They have a chance to get out. Let me tell you, all 4 of these teams can get out, and all 4 of these teams can be grouped right here. It literally, I know a lot of people, the favorites are obviously England and the United States, but it could be flip-flopped. It could be Iran and Wales. And that's what you got to love about international football. The United States, this is their golden generation of U.S. talent. It's a young and upcoming squad. Lots of talk, however, over Greg Berhalter and his future and him not being the right man for the job with his weird tactics. This team struggles to create sometimes, but they like to press. Berhalter likes them to press up high, but they can get caught out very easily if not careful. Key player for this side, Christian Pulisic. 21 goals and 52 caps for the United States. If anything will happen, it's going to be up to that man right there.
Oh, Greg. Oh, Greg. You either hate him or you love him. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
This team should be better than what it's been. If they go to the World Cup in the form they're in, they're going to get grouped.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they go into the World Cup playing like they have been, they won't make it out of the group.
I agree.
And as a U.S. fan, I've been waiting.
Struggle.
As a U.S. fan, I've been waiting for this. You missed the last one. Don't mess this one up. Don't mess this up. This has got to be really hard to mess up. You have as much talent as any U.S. coach has ever had. Time to do something with it. And I don't know if he can.
Yeah. When the squad came out, obviously names that weren't in is Zach Steffen, and who obviously just hasn't been playing regularly, and Ricardo Pepi missed out. Jordan Morris shouldn't be in the squad, in my opinion. I don't think Christian Roldan should be. There's something here with the MLS and the United States men's national team, and I don't like it.
I don't either.
I don't care if our players are playing overseas. If anything, I want them to be, because let me tell you right now,
That's where the
European
talent
teams
is.
will absolutely destroy any MLS team that comes across their path. And that's just a fact. If any US MLS team at most is a championship side in England, bottom tier championship side, if that. So, but obviously the squad, they've got, like I said, young and upcoming. You know what I mean? Serginho Dest, Anthony Robinson, Brandon Aronson, Tyler Adams, both from Leeds, Weston McKennie, Musa, Christian Pulisic, Giovanni Reina. I like Weah.
I like Weah too.
The
little bit I've got to watch him play, I really like Weah.
Matt Turner plays for Arsenal now. Sean Johnson isn't a bad keeper. I mean, he plays in MLS, but he's not a bad keeper by any means. Young and upcoming squad. By 2026, when it comes to the United States, let me tell you, this team can very much make something happen. They can make something happen this year. But when it comes to 2026, first off, you can guarantee I'm going to be there. And
they got to make something happen in 2026.
They can do something.
They have to. They don't have to go through a qualifying stage. Get your stuff right. Like, all right. Yeah. I can't talk a lot on who left in, who left out. I think that'll come to be seen when we see that starting 11 against Wales.
Yep.
I am eager, to say the least, on what that U.S. starting 11 is going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Berhalter, he struggled. He struggled to keep the same lineup. Reyna struggled to place his starting spot on a regular, which is a little worrying because I think Giovanni Reyna is right behind Christian Pulisic in key players. I think Reyna is a person and a player who can make or break for the U.S. this tournament. And I like Brendan Aronson. I like his pressing. I love Tyler Adams. It's just whether or not Berhalter's going to play them and play the tactics correctly and play them in their roles. So
he's known to love his MLS players. He is.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
It is a problem, and it will be a problem if it continues, because guess what? It won't be a problem if they get grouped, because he will no longer be the U.S. head coach if that happens.
He won't be here.
No.
He might not be here if they don't. Actually,
they might leave him in Qatar.
He won't make it back in the U.S. But
they just leave him there and say goodbye.
Yeah, literally.
All right.
Moving on to Wales here, though. Wales' second ever World Cup appearance here. It's their golden generation. It's pretty much guaranteed a 5 in the back system, and they're going to look to use their pace out wide and, get out on the break on countering. And the key player, it's Gareth Bale. He's just won the MLS Cup. His clutch ability will come up big. He's the reason they're here. I mean, he genuinely is. Wales loves this man. I love this man. He's an absolute baller. And I mean, I don't mind Ben Davies. Nico Williams will be a big part of this side. Aaron Ramsey will be. Kiefer Moore will be, and whether they play Gareth Bale in a false 9 position or Kiefer Moore up top, might play Kiefer Moore against a team like the United States.
If I'm not mistaken,
Moore, being a little strong. So
Moore's been in pretty good form at Bournemouth, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think he hasn't been horrible this season, honestly. And then you have Brennan Johnson, plays for Nottingham Forest at the moment, and let me tell you, this team can definitely be dangerous. This is actually a team I think I'm scared of this team more than Iran.
Yeah.
And this is a team that comes from Europe. That's the thing. European football is different than any other football in the world. South American football is different than European.
Moore's got 4 goals in 15 matches for Bournemouth this year.
Yeah, so he's played all right, but that strong physical appearance and height might really help them if they just choose to play Gareth Bale out on the wing instead of in a false 9 position. Our picks for this group. the bias he wants me to say put US up top. But
Oh, my bias wants me to say the U.S. is going to win this, and I will pick the U.S. to win this.
I'm gonna be honest.
My brain is right
It'll
there.
be England.
Now this is where the topic of conversation comes in. Do they get through?
I think the US will get through. I think they might struggle in a game match between Iran or Wales. They may draw one, but they'll win the other. And I think 4 points is going to get you through this group comfortably. I think Iran and Wales can draw. I think that'll be a very tight match, tight even match. England might win out this whole group. If you want to know the most important match in Group B, it's England versus the United States.
Well, yeah.
On the 25th.
It
is England versus the US. And if a point is dropped by 2 points dropped by England or 2 points gained by the United States, if they win,
they can win the group.
The US has a very big possibility.
You thinking Wales, Iran here?
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the top two are the ones that really matter. So
yeah. Group C. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. I have bias D here because I'm from the United States. We don't, not that we don't like Mexico, but in this sport in particular, we don't like Mexico. So, but Argentina coming to this World Cup with arguably an inexperienced manager. 40 games in charge, only lost 4. They're on an unreal unbeaten streak at the moment. They have an elbow type setup where Molina, right back for them, stays back and out wide. And this allows Messi and DePaul to combine and get into those advanced areas forward. And that's very useful for them. Expecting probably a 4-3-3 system here. And their goal is to keep the ball much more. They like to control possession of play. They like to press high, though. Argentina, obviously, a favorite coming into the tournament. Many notable names throughout the squad. Emiliano Martinez will be the #1 goalkeeper. I am a firm believer in it. Christian Romero, Lisandro Martinez, Marcus Acuna, DePaul, McAllister is here. I mean, Messi, obviously.
I felt like you were leaving out the obvious one.
No, I was just getting to attackers. I was looking. Lautaro Martinez, Julian Alvarez, Dybala, Carrera. This attack is disgusting. I mean, there's so many options in this attack for Argentina. You can even play Messi back at the 10 if you don't play a 4-3-3. If you go with something like a 4-2-3-1, play Messi at cam, Di Maria on the left. I mean, there's a lot they can do here, but I'd probably be expecting a 4-3-3 for Argentina.
Lionel Messi. That's the only name you need to know. That's the only name I care about.
Yeah, Messi.
And how cool would it be? I'll just be that guy. How cool would it be to see him go out like that?
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
He said it depends. He's added a little bit of pressure on this Argentinian side, in my opinion, by saying that how they do this World Cup depends on his future. So we'll see. But key player for them, Lionel Messi. Despite some people saying that it's over for him and he won't do well at this World Cup, he steps up for his country. He does. And he has the joint top scorer with 7 goals in qualifying while playing in 14 of the 16 qualifiers. So, he's Messi. That's all you need to know. He's arguably
that is all you need to know.
Next team, Saudi Arabia. This is their 6th World Cup, actually. They're going to utilize that pace on the flanks combined with the flair that they have in those front areas. And they're going to play outside a lot with that type of pace to get the ball into the box. Lots of crosses in. Be ready for that when you watch the Saudi Arabian side. Key player is Al Muwallid and Al Dasari. They both are going to utilize their counterattacking pace to give them a chance in this World Cup. They have to. Those two wingers are going to be the ones to look out for because they're going to need them to perform very well if they want a chance to even get out of the group stage. Mexico. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with Mexico, I think. It's hard to tell what formation they'll play, but this team is very hardworking off the ball. They press high to win the ball back, and the fullbacks they have the free range to get forward. They have the green light to go forward a lot. So a very high pressing team. Key player Edson Alvarez. defensive beast. He's very tidy in his tackle execution and in possession. He's averaging 2.3 tackles per game in the Eredivisie at Ajax this season. He's playing very well. He's going to be the key player in that Mexican midfield in that defense. So, I mean, Raul Jimenez up top. He's the man. He's the main man, obviously. He's going to have to score goals at this tournament. But Mexico has a legit chance to get through. Poland, they've scored 30 goals in qualifying. However, Poland, they only tend to play forward when they're the favorite to win the match. And against better sides, they play very negative and drop back deep, which can be very troublesome for them. But however, they're not too bothered about controlling the match, and they don't control possession the best. So key player Robert Lewandowski, he's a baller.
No, really? Lewandowski's the key for Poland.
He drops back deeper when he plays for Poland. He's got a different role. He drops back deeper to receive the ball than his role at Barca. He scored 9 goals in the qualifying stage. He's always going to want the ball. They're going to give it to him, and he's a goal scorer. But he can still create just as well. In the Nations League, he had an amazing assist, if I'm not mistaken. So Lewandowski, he can still create while scoring goals. Now, Argentina tops the group. I'm not even going to have you say anything. I'm not going to argue about it. I figured we'd agree, but
we're not going to argue about that. But I will say, I don't envy the people who have to broadcast the Polish game. I look at these names and I'm like, oh my goodness, have fun with that, because that doesn't look fun. I can say Lewandowski. There you go.
Matthew, you can say Matty Cash.
Oh, hey, that's an easy one. Other than that, nope.
Milic, I believe. I think it's Milic.
See, even you don't know. Okay, so where are we going?
Keeper Szczesny. Szczesny will be a big part of this team. So.
Where are we going with 2? I feel like it's a toss-up between Poland and Mexico.
I think this will be a toss-up between those two sides. I think Saudi Arabia will be 4.
Can I drag them to 4? Nope, I can't. I have to click these in order. Okay.
For the sake of Lewandowski's career and himself, I want to say Poland because I like Leo. I like Leo, but
we're American. We can pick him against Mexico, right?
I like Poland. I really do. I like them to get through. Well, and I think Mexico, with the arguing between their formations, I think it's going to hurt.
Okay. Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia.
Group D. France, Australia, Denmark, Tunisia. I'm going to be honest. I think there's 2 teams that get through this very comfortably. However, there could be an upset, but very unlikely.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything crazy. I'm just gonna go and give my opinion right now. It's France and Denmark, and then a gigantic ocean-sized gap between their
It legitimately might end in a 4 or 5 point gap between the bottom 2 and the top 2. But
I think they could both end up with 7, and the others with 3, like 1 possibly if they draw. Yeah, I think this. And then in terms of picking a group, I feel like this group's the easiest. But I mean, you can flip flop whether you want to pick France or Denmark. There has been, isn't there like you won the World Cup jinx in the next World Cup?
There is. It's actually happened in the last 3 World Cups.
I saw that 3
It is it is a thing. I promise.
Well, I think the French side. I think the French are just too good though. So.
Well, the group isn't very great either. So
yeah, they got
first
they
team
got that
to talk about though. France, unreal attacking talent in this side, unheard of. When they attack forward, they play very well and they destroy other opposing sides. However, though, when they play conservative, they can struggle. And they need to let loose in this tournament. I think they just need to play attacking, entertaining football, which is obviously what everybody wants to see in the long run anyway. They have 3 attackers to go forward for their tactic, and that includes Mbappe, Benzema, and Griezmann. And those 3 just kind of can roam forward and basically do what they want. They can just let go. This team's very strong. Hugo Lloris, I would assume, would start in goal. Lucas Hernandez, Theo Hernandez, Ibrahima Konate, Julius Koundé, the young star in the making. Pavard to play on both sides, left and right, for those wing-back positions or right-back, full-back positions. Saliba, Rafael Varane, You go to the midfield, however, Pogba injured, will not be there. N'Golo Kante injured, will not be there at the World Cup. It is a new look midfield for France. Eduardo Camavinga, you have Fofana, you have Tukiemi. I probably pronounced Tuki. I was saying it right before this, but now I just butchered
Now
it.
you just don't know. You
So
question
that
yourself
one's
every
on
time.
me. I've said it right for the past like 3 weeks of my life, but when I figured it out. But forwards, obviously Benzema, Coman, Dembele, Olivier Giroud, Antoine Griezmann, Mbappe, obviously, and Kunku.
That's a fun name to say.
It's
That's a fun name to say. That's a fun name to say.
It's a very
Nkunku.
dangerous side.
That's a fun name to say.
This one is
Also,
this team is very
Dembele.
much favorite.
Another fun name to say. Sorry, that's the thing that I think about when you're reading stuff off like this.
Key player for France?
Can I take a guess? That guy?
There's a lot of guys that could be key players for me. You could even add in
but Mbappe is that guy.
But the thing is that this team is starting to be built around him, which shows, and it shows the importance of the 23-year-old already in his career so far. Next team, Australia. I'm gonna be honest. There's no superstar here to take chances for them, and this is probably their weakest squad they've had going into a World Cup. It's going to be their biggest challenge yet as a nation to secure any points in this group stage. Obviously, their best match would probably be Tunisia, but that's not going to get them through. They lack quality to dominate matches from start to finish. Like I said, no superstar to take chances. They lack pace severely, and so their counterattacks will be limited, and their center backs are slow, which then can allow quick-paced guys like Mbappe to get through very easily. Key player for them, it's hard to pick, especially for Australia and Tunisia, but Jackson Irvine scored 5 and assisted 4 in qualifying. However, you have to remember that who Australia plays in qualifying is far off from what they're going to play here in Qatar, with the likes of France and Denmark in the group stage specifically. Denmark, next team, only 1 loss in qualifying and conceded only 3 goals. They beat France 2-0 in the Nations League recently, which relegated France from Nations League A to B for the next year, playing an attacking brand of football with the emergence of Christensen and Skov Olsen while keeping balance between the attack and the defense. Skov Olsen and Christensen going to be very important in this side for that attacking brand of football. Key player here is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who plays a progressive role to take oppositions more advanced than what you'd see for him when he plays for Tottenham at Spurs. So Denmark is I think it's a dark horse. Once again, It's a dark horse. And I think they actually can top this group. I think they can go very far. Heck, I think this is an underdog to win the entire thing. Okay. I think Denmark is that good. I mean, this team is ridiculous, in my opinion. I think it's very good. I mean, it's just Schmeichel will be in goal. You have Andreas Christensen, but Rasmus Christensen. You have Christian Eriksen in the midfield, Højbjerg, Norgard. You've got Damsgaard on that left wing. You have Poulsen, Skov Olsen. So I think it's going to be very good for Denmark. Very good World Cup. Next team, Tunisia. I'm going to be honest. Very boring side. Not really an exciting team by any means. They kind of BS'd their way to the World Cup, if I'm being honest. But they're going to sit back a lot. They're going to sit back and hope that they can get 1-0 wins or 0-0 draws by frustrating the opposition each time. And will it work? Maybe, maybe not. But key player, Wabi Kazari, probably the player who could create something out of nothing for them and has experience at the World Cup, but it's hard to pick someone in their squad. France and Denmark will top this group. I think we can just agree on that.
Are you going France 1, Denmark 2? Or do you think
put Australia and Tunisia in there? I think Australia will beat Tunisia, maybe.
Oh, I do not want to do that, and I can't get.
That's unfortunate. Okay, well, good thing it's almost over. The
podcast. That's fantastic. Thanks.
We'll fix that next time. Yeah, I didn't know that one. That never happened to me when I did it.
Well,
but
okay, we'll stop the share then.
I think it's gonna be France. I think this team's too strong. However, the World Cup curse. Who knows? Australia or Tunisia could go through. And when I say could go through, I mean very, very unlikely to go through, but it is possible.
Yeah. I just think if you play a style where you're going to sit back, that France attack is just too good. You're not going to be able to do that. I just feel like, yeah, France, you can try to get a 1-0 win against France. Good luck shutting that squad out. I mean, Denmark just did it, but that's a completely different story because Denmark's a way better side.
All right, I fixed my mic. My stuff broke, but we're good. I was like, what is happening? But so I didn't hear a word you just said, but that's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
But it's France attacking is so good. The attacking front's good. The defense is good. Their midfield is good. It's young, very young midfield. Obviously, you could possibly say inexperienced in the thought of the World Cup specifically. But I mean, we'll see what happens. They won the World Cup 4 years ago. Croatia finished second. England finished third, I believe.
I do not remember.
It's gonna be a very entertaining out of these 4 groups. I think France in this Denmark group, obviously a little bit more obvious than the others, but we'll see what happens. And we will get this episode out and for tomorrow for us. And the next one will probably be Thursday or Friday. And then the last one will be Saturday, the day before the World Cup. So that's going to do it for this episode of the 2022 Qatar World Cup. And we will see you whenever the next one gets uploaded. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. And we hope to have you join us next time on the Two Bros Sports Podcast. With that being said, I'm your host, Hunter Smith, and goodbye.